Hello and welcome to part 2 of the City to Surf edition of Ask the Coach. I'm Kirsten Todd, your coach here at Hooked on Running. So you'd have to be been living under a rock if you didn't know that the City to Surf is a pretty hilly race. It is infamous for Heartbreak Hill, but really Heartbreak Hill is not that heartbreaking. It's really more the continual ascents and descents that'll get you. There's only about 2 kilometres of the entire race that are flat, maybe about 2.5. So you barely have a chance to get into a nice rhythm. There's that stretch along the water at Rose Bay. That's about the only spot you'll really be able to get into a good tempo. Other than that, you'll either be running uphill or downhill, and both of those can really take their toll. You probably have entered the City to Surf with some kind of goal time. And if you've got a goal time, you're going to know what your average pace is that you need to hit. But an average pace is kind of meaningless in this run. You really need to think more about pace as an outcome of effort. You just need to be running at an effort that you think you're going to be able to maintain for the entire race, regardless of whether you're running uphill or downhill. Thought I'd kind of look at how you have any kind of clue what sort of pace is okay to be running those hills at, so that they don't take too much out of you. There is a rule of thumb that for each metre of elevation of the hill, you need to add on between 3 and 5 metres to the distance of the hill. So, for example, with Heartbreak Hill, it's 1,600 metres long, 1.6k, and the elevation is 80 metres. So if we work on adding 5 metres per metre of elevation to that, that's 5 times 80, which is 400 metres. So we're going to add on 400 metres to 1.6k, so it brings you up to 2 kilometres. So what that's saying is basically it should take you the same time to run up Heartbreak Hill as it would take you to run 2 kilometres over a flattish 2 kilometres. So I've actually prepared a little spreadsheet to work all of that out for you. So let's say your recent 10k time is 57 minutes and 47 seconds. What did I say? 57 minutes. So it's got to be converted into a decimal. If you come over here and put your 47 seconds in here, you'll see that that's 0.78 as a decimal. So you just need to put in your 57.78 up here. That's going to estimate your City to Surf time and obviously your City to Surf pace. That then is going to do a few calculations down here for you. I've used a factor of between 3 and 4.5 here. If you know that you climb hills well, you can use that factor of 3. That is still pretty slick going up a hill. So to use that sort of minimum pace there, you need to know that you're well trained for the City to Surf and that you climb hills well. And that's going to give you a pace of 7.1 minutes up Heartbreak Hill. It's not 7 minutes 10, it's 7.1 minutes. If you want to convert that 0.1 minutes to seconds, it's just 0.1 times 60, and so it's 7 minutes and 6 seconds. So this particular person last year was at around about 24:10, I think, maybe at 5k, something like that. It wasn't her best run up Heartbreak Hill ever, but you can see up these hills here. So this person did just over 70 minutes for the City to Surf last year, but you can see going up these hills, she's going 4:49 per kilometre pace. Up this one, I think she might have hit something even faster than that. So instead of slowing down up the hills, she's actually sped up. So she's gone here 4:48 up that steepest part of the hill there. So way too fast in this first bit, which meant by the time she got to Heartbreak Hill and had yet another hill to go up, she'd pretty much lost it mentally. She pulled herself together coming downhill, and she's a good downhill runner. So my advice to this particular person this year has been definitely to slow down here and know that she has a good downhill in her. She's a very confident downhill runner, and she's got to be confident in the first part of the race that she's actually going to pick her time up. You can see here she's running 4:10 per k pace, 4:17. So all of this downhill bit, if you're a good downhill runner, just remember that and take it a little bit easier at the start here. If you have a look at the City to Surf on paper or on the screen here, The back half of the race looks easier than the first half of the race. You've got these hills here. And let's take Heartbreak Hill out of the equation. So let's look at the course here as compared to the course here. I mean, you do have a nice flat bit here, but you've got these very steep hills here. You've got some downhill, but here you have got a very, very, very long downhill stretch, a little bit uphill here. If you haven't done this part of the race beforehand, this is actually a pretty easy kind of undulating course. So keep that in mind when you're trying to be patient in this part of the course, up these hills here and up Heartbreak Hill. If you keep enough in reserve, you could run the back half of the race faster than the first half of the race. Very few people do it, and I believe it's because people just go out too hard here and blow up. I don't think there's really much more that can be said about hills and negative splitting and keeping things in reserve. So good luck on Sunday. Have a great time. Make sure you come and see us in the tent after the race, where if you go through the finish line, you then sort of have to take a right-hand turn and go back a bit to get to the Run Club tent area. And that is where we will be. So I will see you then.